Okay, I am going to choose today to sit up onto two blocks, kneeling. I know that's not going to work for everybody's body. So go ahead and find the positioning that works best for you. Just where you can really elongate your spine. We're going to start off with a little breathing thing here. So we want the lungs and the rib cage and the diaphragm to be able to move. All right. So the basic gist of this is that we're going to use our strap or our scarf as a little tactile feedback. So if you don't have that, you could always just place your hands here on your ribs, one on either side, or you could reach across and kind of hold opposite side, hands onto the lower ribs. So whatever is most comfortable in your shoulders there. And this is going to give us a little feedback, kind of directing our attention more fully down into the diaphragm. So state of the world these days is a little stressful. I think it's safe to say for everybody. And when we are encountering stress, anxiety of any kind from any source, our breath immediately tends to go here, right? So more shallow, the shoulders come up, there's all of this tension through the jaw, neck, shoulders, and we're not getting that full belly breathing, diaphragmatic breathing that starts to regulate the nervous system. And then we have all this icky, sticky stress and tension up where we don't need it. So this is a little remedy for that today. So we're going to take our strap around behind the body. So about the back of the solar plexus area, about the base of your rib cage. Okay, and then you're just going to bring it across the front. You're going to cross it over and then hold on to that opposite end. Okay, don't worry, we're not going to tie ourselves into a knot here. We're going to get ourselves out of knots today. So then we want to very, very gently pull the strap right out to the side so that you're ever so gently and lovingly cinching that strap into you. Not so much that you can't breathe, but just enough so that you can feel the movement of your rib cage. So there's that fine line between not too tight and not too loose either. Right, so palms up, we're just going to hold that there and let the shoulders and the elbows drop. Welcome to close your eyes if you wish, just bringing your attention inwards. We're simply going to hold that light tension of our strap. And then just start to notice your breath as it moves into your body. Start to notice your hips kind of nestling down into the support beneath them. Let your tailbone perhaps drop just a teeny bit if you're in an arched back. And just let your jaw be soft. And as your breath comes in, can you feel it moving down into your ribs, down into your straps? With each inhaling breath without forcing, just allowing that gentle expansion of the ribs out to the sides, into the back, down into the belly. And then with each exhalation, there's simply a softening and a release. So you might be breathing in and out through your nose. You might breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. We're going to spend just a few moments here tuning in, starting to feel the breath coming in a little more slowly, a little more fully. Exhaling out just as slowly, just as fully. And as you stay with this mindful attention to your breathing, breathing into the ribs, down into your strap, down into your belly, down into your back. Maybe you start to feel a slight shift. Maybe you start to feel yourself coming more into present moment, now moment. You're starting to feel this internal movement, massage of your breath for your inner body. Let's just take one more deep and slow breath. And just gently release your strap. You can place that off to the side for right now. Let the hands rest on the legs and imagine that it's still there. And we'll just kind of hold this awareness as we're moving through our practice today of breathing into that imaginary strap or breathing into your imaginary hands on the ribs. Take a deep, full breath without that strap. And with a tall posture, simply drop your chin to your chest. Feel perhaps that little stretch through the back of the neck. And then begin to sweep the head, the chin over towards the left and back down across the center of the chest and over to the right. We're just going to go back and forth here, that little smiley face movement, sweeping the chin down across the chest to one side, down across the chest to the other side. I'm going to stay with that for a few moments, starting to warm up through the joints a wee bit. Opening up some breathing room through any snug areas. And just start to notice how your body is today, where there might be any obvious tension and maybe not so obvious tension. Sometimes we don't even know it's there until we start to move and it's like, oh my gosh, where did that come from? Right? So one more time each side, giving your body a little love today. Good. And then coming back down, chin to chest. And from here, starting, excuse me, pardon me, starting to move from your pelvis. We're going to move through our seated cats. So we're going to tip the pelvis forward, bringing that curve up the back. The heart looks to the sky. Your gaze comes up. Let's slide the hands, the elbows, and the shoulders back. So there's that little squeeze back. And then tucking the hips, the chin, rounding back, sliding the arms forward. Feel that nice opening across the upper, middle, and lower back. And then again, inhale, arching, lifting the heart, squeezing the shoulder blades back, activating your back body muscles. And then as you exhale, hug the tummy, the ribs in as you tuck and round, activating the front body muscles. So just keep flowing there. Let's get a little connected to our breath and movement. So the pace is your own, but not too fast, just nice and easy. Nourishing movement. Again, warming up the spine. Last time. And then coming back to center, find your neutral pelvis. Just let it kind of drop. Let there be some weight down through your sit bones. And then that lovely light length up through the rest of your body. Bringing your fingertips to your shoulders. Let's take the elbows back. Oh, that feels good today. Up and then forward and down. So they're not going to touch, but feel as if your elbows could kiss to the back and then they might kiss to the front. Okay, not forcing anything, just finding a comfortably large range of motion. Good. And then we're going to reverse that, sweeping forward, up, back, and around. Breathing easy. Good. Last one. Bringing the arms right down by your sides for a moment. Let's take a squeeze of the shoulders up to the ears, chin level with the floor. We're going to hold that tension for just a couple of seconds, and then it's a quick drop. Let them go. I'll just do that 2 more times. So inhale, squeeze up, hold a second or 3, and then exhale, drop. 1 more time. Make some sound. Gorgeous. Now interlacing the fingers behind the head. Nestle your head back into your hands, and let's do this. Go ahead and press your elbows back and just notice what's starting to happen to the chest. So maybe the chest is kind of puffing forward there. Maybe your back is starting to arch a little. Nothing innately wrong with that. I just would like to change that position a little bit. So slowly start to bring your elbows forward until you feel your posture just settling into neutral. So chances are you can see your elbows through your periphery, but they're not too far forward, right? So just a little nest for the head to relax into there. All right, from here, my friends, let's tip a little over to one side. Not so much that that hip comes off the floor. So it's really just kind of middle, upper side ribs here, and then up through center, and over to the other side. Let's weave a breath into that. Inhaling as you come up, there's a momentary pause. Exhaling over to the side. Inhaling as you come back up. Exhaling over to the side. Let's take that one more time each way. Noticing what you're feeling, sensing through your body as you are moving. Next time you come through center, pause, and we'll keep the fingers interlaced. I'm going to take them from behind the head and bring the back of the hands to the top of your head. And then press the top of the head up into the hands and let your shoulders drop down. It's a beautiful long posture. I'm just sort of wiggling my hips down into the ground. And then from there, start to push the palms up to the sky. Go ahead, if your shoulders want to come up to your ears there, let them. Go for that nice big stretch. And imagine you're breathing into your strap around your rib cage right here, 360 degrees, front, sides, back. Stay there through your exhale. Then gently slide the fingers apart. And let's just roll through the wrists, the fingers, moving all those hand, wrist, finger joints as the arms come down. Relax through your jaw. Give everything a little shaky shake out there. And pause to notice any new sensations, warmth, tingling, fresh blood flow. And then we're going to take this around into some circles. So this is our getting into the nooks and crannies circle. So all the way around like you're scooping out the inside of the peanut butter jar. So you're circling around the hip, the pelvis, through the waist, through the back, through the ribs, through the shoulders, through the head, just letting it all become part of that freeing up movement. You can look however you want it to look. Let's just take a few of those around the other way. I always have the phrase release the krakens in my mind with these because everything is crunching and crackling and releasing. It's a good thing. All right, last time around, finding your way eventually back to your center point, hips heavy, heart light, just taking that beautiful full breath. Good. Let's mosey from here down into our backs and come on down to the ground. And as you get there, let's just stretch everything out. Pardon me. Stretch out your legs. Keep the arms overhead, that nice big ooey gooey stretch, creating a little bit more lengthening through one side. So same side, arm and leg growing longer away from each other, and then through the other side. And just take that side to side a couple of times. Remember, you are on a kind and gentle stretching rack. Toffee being pulled on a warm summer day. Taffy, toffee. And then lengthening through whole body equally, pressing out through your heels like you're standing on the wall in front of you. And just notice if your body is like mine, have your ribs really popped off the floor there? If so, can we soften them down? Feel your back body lengthening a bit more. Breathing into the middle back ribs. And then just bringing your arms down by your sides and slide your feet to the floor. Good. All right. Interlacing your fingers once more behind the head, just like we did, only this time we are going to let those elbows really press back into the floor. So we're moving through our arch and curl, but the pelvic tilt doesn't have to be super big. It can be smaller if it needs to be. So we're just going to start to roll forward onto the tailbone, press the elbows back. Feel as if you could slide your shoulder blades down into your back hip pockets. And then as you tuck the hips, you lift the head and curl up. Let that come from those top 2 inches of your abdominal muscles right here at the base of the rib cage. And then slowly roll back down into your arch. Now pause there a second. We did this last week, just the leg part of it. I think we did this last week. So even if we didn't, let's do it now. Okay, so sorry about all that. Feel as if you could lift your feet off the floor. You're not going to. You're in a gentle arch of the back, and all we're doing is just activating the hip flexors with that movement. And then as you tuck and curl up, squeeze the glutes. So yes, your abs are engaged, the muscles through the front body are engaged, but also the buttock muscles. And then as you roll back down and you arch the back, you do have back body muscles engaging, but also hip flexors. And we're just going to go back and forth. So each time you tuck and curl up, the glutes are squeezing, you relax them. So you roll down into your arch and just lift your feet. It's just a way to get a few more of our core muscles activated and helping us out here. Last one. Come back to neutral as you get there. Release the arms, roll the head a little side to side, and just let everything relax. Soft jaw, middle back ribs, relax onto the floor. Now place your hands right here on top of your hip points and imagine that you have a big dinosaur tail. Your tailbone, reaching all the way to the wall in front of you. All we're going to do is swing that tail from side to side. So all that means is as you're swinging your dinosaur tail to the right hip is hiking up towards the armpit. It's just like when we do the accordion movement on our side, and the left waistline is getting longer. And then as you swing your tail to your left, you're shortening the left side of your body and the right side gets longer. So this is more about that lateral C curve of your spine and doing our best. It's a tricky one for me. Doing our best to keep the pelvis level, to keep it neutral, just meaning that you're not arched or tucked. You could even turn your head side to side with that. You could even bring your arms down to your sides and start to get a little shoulder activation too. So as the hips swing to the right, that right shoulder presses down. As the hips swing to the left shoulder presses down. So it's like a fish swimming through water. Good. Last time to the left when you get there. Back to center, relax. Take a breath. And then go ahead and stretch your legs all the way back out onto the floor again. Feet are flexed, toes and knees actively see the sky. And let's bring the arms overhead. So we're back in that full body stretch. We're going to do this little back walk, kind of walking in place on our back that we did last week also. I think I was not feeling well last week, so I apologize for whatever happened then. And I could have dreamt we did all of this. Okay, anyways, soften those front ribs in. Bending your left knee to 90 degrees and your right arm comes straight up here. So think about there's a little invisible force, a little wall right here that right arm's going to press against so that it's not going all the way down. Okay. All right. And then lengthening back out, trying not to move through the pelvis. So keeping your hips stable as we come to the other side. Right knee bends, left arm presses into that invisible force. And all the while that left leg is engaged, we're keeping the thigh firm. Okay. And we're just going to move through that at a slow pace, alternating one side to the other. Both feet stay flexed. The leg that's on the floor stays engaged so that it's not rotating out. If you'd like to add a breath, it could inhale into your reach. Exhale, opposite arm and leg come up. I'm going to stay with this for a few seconds. So trunk stays stable, just arms and legs moving. You might imagine again, breathing into that solar plexus area, keeping a gentle but firm belly engagement. I'll do one more each side. And then as you stretch back out, take a moment just to circle the arms around your sides. Let the feet fall naturally open, the legs relax, full body breath. And then we'll slide the feet back onto the floor again. And this time, doing a little around the clock pelvic movement. So I always like to start at 6 o'clock with this into that tuck. Okay. So we're going to go around clockwise. So the pelvis starts to tip over to the left. Start to roll forward to 12 o'clock arch. Rolling around to the right, pressing that right hip down. Rolling back into your tuck, so low back pressing onto the floor. think about circling around your sacrum, doing your best to keep the knees where they are. So knees pointing upwards rather than tipping over side to side. So that will help really direct that movement more specifically into the pelvis. And don't forget to breathe. We're going to go around one more time this way. And then just reversing it, going counterclockwise, maybe visualizing the numbers of the clock that you are circling the hips all the way around. Bringing some loving awareness into areas, especially those areas that might feel sticky or tight. Maybe there's a little catch. Moving gently through or around those areas. Good. Upper body stays relaxed. We're just going to take one more circle around this direction. And eventually, as you come all the way back around to center, relax, relax. Good. And walking your feet out as wide as your mat, bringing the arms overhead in a relaxed cactus. We're going to take the knees in towards each other so they will likely touch, and then out away from each other, which will be a much smaller range of motion with the feet at this width. But we're just going to go in and out. And I'm just sort of rolling to the inner edge of my arch and a little bit to the outer edge of the feet. So I call these British windshield wipers. And then we're going to do American windshield wipers. So now let both knees fall over to one side, head rolls the opposite way. And we go up and over to the other side. Just rocking it out side to side. And next time you come up through center, let's circle the arms around. Give yourself a great big hug, knees into the chest, lengthen out through your lower back and tailbone, breathing into your imaginary strap. And then just placing your feet down, and let's go ahead and roll over onto your side. And we're going to actually prop up either on your elbow. So knees will be stacked on top of each other in front of the hips, or slightly out is fine. Down, I guess we could call that. So on the elbow, or you could come up onto the hand, however you like there. Let me get my hairs in place here. Okay. So we're going to get some things moving through the side body again here, through the intercostals, the rib cage. I'm going to be up on my hand with this. So to start, just go ahead and start to kind of slink down there. You're just letting that shoulder press up towards the ear, feeling a stretch from the armpit down that side body to your hip. And then actively draw the ribs, the waistline in, press into the hand or your elbow, and feel that shoulder blade moving down your back. So you get a really nice scapular release down, and then this engagement through your side body. So you've heard me say before, imagine you've got a little hot potato under your waistline right there. Okay, and then we're just gonna slink back down into that little hammock. Even stay there for a second. Feel your breath moving into those side ribs. And then pressing the floor through the hand, glide that shoulder down your back. Feel the ribs pulling in, the waist coming in. Hot potato. And just do that one more time. A little slink down. Let's stay for a second. Feel the breath again moving into that space. And pressing the floor away, gliding up, and now we're going to stay right there. So we're propped up, we're a little bit active, we're kind of on this diagonal. So just kind of check and see where your head is there, make sure your neck is happy. And we're just going to take that top arm, mine's my left, but your top arm, your free arm, and start to circle it around. Now you might open a little bit into a little rotation there, like open a little to the back if that's comfy. Roll a little to the front. Okay. Or it could be much smaller range of motion. So just tending to where your body needs support today. Good. And then as you come back around, let's reach that arm all the way overhead. Hot potato under your waistline. I'm pressing the floor away, shoulder gliding down my back, like a little mermaid stretch. And then just coming all the way back up. Let's slide all the way down onto our side. You could prop your head up on your arm or on a block here, however you like. And let's move the knees in front of the hips if they're not there already. Gorgeous. All right, we're going to send that attention down into the lower body now. So extending that top leg straight out down the length of your body, parallel. So just like when we were laying on our back, the thigh is firm, the toes are forward, hugging the tummy and the ribs in enough so that the back doesn't arch, and just start to press your leg back a teeny bit more till you feel these backside muscles engaging the glutes and the hamstring. You just want to activate that posterior chain. All right, and then we're going to glide that leg forward like it's on a little shelf. And this time, point your toes and pull the leg back and still feel that little squeeze of the backside muscles. And then flex your foot and glide forward. Point your toes and glide back. Let's do a couple more here. Just be mindful that you're not using momentum to throw the leg forward and kind of kick it back and losing control through your torso. So smooth, gliding. I'm going to do one more. Now this time, keep your foot flexed as you're pressing it back, and you're going to go a little bit pigeon-toed. Okay, so your legs pressing back, slightly pigeon-toed, just internally rotating from your upper thigh. And think a teeny tiny pulse to the back corner. So this is a little bit of a diagonal behind you. So it's just a little up and back, up and back. Ooh, good, keep going. Don't let your ribs flare. That hits all the spots, right? Two more. Good, and then bring that knee in. Oh my goodness gracious, give it a pat. Ooh, thank you, hips. Good, and then we're gonna take that knee. We're gonna keep it the leg, same leg, bent at a 90-degree angle. I'm gonna bring the knee forward. That might even feel like a little bit of a nice stretch. Take it out, so you're externally rotating, and I'm doing my darndest to keep my pelvis stable. So hips stacked on top of each other. I'm gonna take the leg back, start to move through an internal rotation, the knee dips down, and pull it forward. Knee slowly rotates out. Try not to move anything else. That's tricky. And then we start an internal rotation as the leg is moving back. You might feel those backside muscles, posterior muscles engaging again. Okay, and then come forward and pause. Then we're going to reverse it. So we're going to go a little bit internally rotated as the thigh bone presses back. Externally rotate like you're scooping up, over, and around forward. Good. As we start to press the leg back, there's a little baby internal rotation there. Good. Externally rotate. Bring that knee forward, and this time lay it on the floor in front of you and just stretch that bottom leg out. You might do a little love pat again there if you like. Pause a moment, enjoy a little stretch. Okay, now we have that same leg. We're going to take that top leg and just place the foot behind you. Okay, I'm going to take that block out from under my head, stretch the arms overhead. This is just a really big stretch, that's all. And then you might let that top hip drop back a little if that feels okay. Okay, so take care. I'm pressing out through the leg that's on the floor, reaching out through the arms, opening all of this up. Nice big breaths there. You could even rock a little forward and back. You can really play and explore with that. What feels good to you in your body. Good. And then extend both legs out on top of each other. You're just balancing on your side for a moment, just for fun. And then let's circle that arm around. Bend your knees. And as a little transition here, we're going to roll onto our belly and come up into a Sphinx pose. So elbows can come directly under the shoulders, so you have more of a 90-degree angle, or you might scoop them more forward to take some of that curve out of your back if that feels better. Gently pressing down through the legs, lengthening the crown, just breathing here. That's all, just holding breathing. And there might be a noticeable difference in the two sides, how the two sides of your body feel having just moved through that one side. Actually, in reality, we moved through both sides through that whole sequence. All right, let's lower all the way down. Take a rest, head on hands. Let the legs just sort of flop. And either, whichever works best for your body, press back to child's pose for a moment, or just roll over onto your back and hug your knees into your chest. Either way. And breathing into the middle back ribs. Feel your breath widening out to the side body. Coming back up. And I'll meet you on the other side. We're going to do that whole sequence on the other side. So this is propped up first, either on the elbow or up onto the hand. So whichever you prefer. In my body, being propped up higher here on the hand feels better to scoot the knees away from me a little bit. So there's just more of an open space there. So wherever you are, you're just gonna start with that slinky pose. The shoulders squeezes up to the ear, getting that lovely side body stretch. Maybe place your hand here on your ribs and feel your breath moving into the space in between them. Good. And then we're just going to start to press that floor away, glide the shoulder down the back, snug the ribs in, hot potato under that waistline. And slink back down. stay. Enjoy an inhale there. Breath pouring into your stretching side body, your elongated side body, and then pressing up to that more active mermaid position. And then one more time, slinking down, stay for that inhale. Now we're going to press up and hold there. Good. Free arm and make that big sweep around you. Again, you can take it through a little rotation if that feels good, rolling a little forward as the arm sweeps forward, rolling the shoulder a little back. This time as that arm comes around, reaching it right overhead, pressing the floor away, lifting that underside waistline up. And then coming all the way down onto your side, arm or block or cushion underneath your head there. And tuck the knees, excuse me, just a little closer. Very good. All right, let's run back through this series again. So we're extending that top leg straight down the length of your spine, or your mat, your spine too. Foot flexed, toes pointed forward, ribs hugged lightly in. Press that leg back just a little till you start to feel everything engaging through the back. So hamstring and glutes, but you don't want to feel tension in your back. Let's glide that leg forward. And then point your toes and pull the leg back. And can you feel that same squeeze through the backside muscles, but that extension, that nice stretch right there through your hip flexor. And gliding forward, gliding back. A couple more here. Let's do two more. And now we're going to keep that foot flexed as we press it back. This is the fun one, right? So we press it back, backside muscles are engaged. Internally rotates a little bit pigeon-toed from that upper thigh. From here, we're pulsing up to that back corner. So a little pulse up and back, up and back, up and back, up and back. Good. Bring the knees all the way together. That side was not nearly as bad as the other side for me. Okay. Coming back to center. We're going to lift that top leg up again to 90 degrees, and we're going to move through that slow hip car. So we're doing our best to keep all of this stable. The knee starts to turn out as it comes up, and then we bring the leg back, the thigh bone back. I'm trying to keep the knee bent, and then rotating in and scoop it into you. Nice little stretch there through your low back. So we go out, back. This for me is where the fight is, not to lose that core connection. Knee drops down, rotating in and scooping forward. And we're going to reverse it so the knee starts to drop a little through that internal rotation. External. We go up and around. Good, just one more. Some lovely hip mobility here. Okay, now as you come around, we're gonna let that knee come to the floor, extend that bottom leg out, and just enjoy a little bit of a stretch there. And then I'm going to try to remember what that very last movement was that we did on the other side. Oh yeah, I got it. That's what happens when you put too much choreography together on one side. Okay, so we're going to take that top leg and place it behind you. So foot is behind that straight leg, knee is bent. Let's stretch the arms overhead, just a lovely reach through your whole body. If it feels good, you can let that top hip drop back, or you can stay more just on your side. You can rock a little forward and back. Maybe find a sweet spot just to reach and breathe into. And then we're going to balance on our sides. We're going to extend both legs out, arms overhead, perfectly balanced right there on your side. Sometimes we're perfectly still. Other times there's all kinds of little micro adjustments happening. Let it be whatever it is. And then we're going to take that little transition again where we roll onto our belly. Separating the legs about hips width, coming up into your Sphinx pose. Just hanging out. Just breathing. And then lower all the way down, head to hands. Relax all effort. And press ourselves up to table pose. Hands will come just slightly forward of the shoulders. And coming through a little cat lift. So that's our lift and arch. And then as you tuck and round, press the hips back to the heels, drawing the chin in. Feel that lovely long stretch through your whole back body. Again, taking the length of your inhale to roll forward, lifting through the heart. Shoulders melt back. Take the length of your exhale to tuck and curl in, hips to heels. Just two more on your own. Moving, flowing with your breath, creating balance, ease. And then we'll pause in our child's pose for a moment. When you get there, feel your breath moving into the back body, the side ribs, belly, hips. Let's just sigh it out, make some sound. Let's do that again. Big breath into your body. Sigh it out. And then just one more quiet breath. Keep this one inside, just for you. Let's take our time coming up however you wish, maybe rolling up to sitting back on the heels if your knees say okie dokie. Otherwise, let's all just swing the legs around. Stretch them out a little bit, bounce them up and down, give them a little massage. And then we're going to make our way down onto our back for Shavasana. So coming into any comfy pose for your relaxation today. Any comfy place. I'll just feel everything starting to settle in. The weight of your body settling down onto the ground. Reminding yourself now that all of your effort, all of your doing is done. So just scanning through you, noticing any observable tension that you can soften with your awareness, with a breath, with just giving the weight, offering the weight of your body to the support of the earth. Trusting that the earth literally has your back. The universe has your back. And just let your breath get a little quieter, a little calmer. And take a few moments to soak in all of this goodness. This beautiful awareness that you've given yourself today, this time of movement and self-care that can shift the energy, create space for more strength and balance, flexibility, peace of mind, and ease of body. And just welcoming that deeper peace in. Imagine it like the most welcoming ray of sunlight, warm and comforting, flowing down through you from the crown of your head all the way out through your fingers and toes. It's going to bask like a kitty cat laying in their favorite sunny spot. We're going to bask in that warmth of light and peace. Again, just feeling that warmth and relaxation flowing into every single nook and cranny of you. Letting yourself be filled up with that, drawing from that what you need to move with ease through the rest of your day. Start to take a little deeper breath again. And you start to find a little wiggle and stretch through fingers or toes, or just let your whole body move any way that feels delicious to it. Take your time, no rush. As you draw the knees in, roll over onto your side. Maybe take a nice big breath there on your side. Let that easeful feeling stay with you as you mosey your way back up to sitting. And I love that feeling of when we come back up and everything kind of falls into new place, new alignment. So just to have a little wiggle, notice where everything's coming back to here. Notice your posture. Notice your breath. Does it feel different? And bringing both palms over the heart space. Let's take a big breath in through the heart center, filling the whole upper body. And just bowing in with a gesture of gratitude to yourself. Thank you, amazing body, for everything that you do for me. And may you have a beautiful, easeful day ahead. Namaste. Maybe you can find a little spot of sunshine to play in today. So I keep coming across this thing on the social medias. It's called, hold on, Tiny Little Joys, I think, or Daily Little Joys, Tiny Little Joys. And the whole purpose of this woman's content is to find as many as you want, but at least one little tiny little joy throughout the day that you can focus on. Just like for me yesterday, I was up in Goldsboro and standing in the living room, noticing the shadow on the porch outside, out front of the trees, and the squirrels playing in the trees in the shadow, in the light. I was like, that brings me joy. That's my tiny little joy that I can focus on. And as we notice more and more of those kinds of things, and we start to shift out of the stressful, anxiety-ridden world that we live in, and we can start to create more health, more peace of mind, bring more joy into our lives and into the world. So that's my little offering to you all today, that may you find a tiny little joy throughout your day.